say, three broad pillars or categories of activities. The first is we have a mission to modernize how we carry out analytics in AI. And when I came in about a year and a half, 2 years ago, you had probably like 20, 30 plus different ways in which, like a setup in which analytics could be carried out. Like you could have someone using their laptop and sort of SaaS, or you could have someone using sort of machine they spun up on AWS and TensorFlow, or you could be using sort of a Hadoop Spark environments, a whole bunch of sort of ways. And the first mission on modernizing and standardizing was saying, great, there's obviously many ways to do this, but we want by and large a modern Silicon Valley style stack which we work on, because it has enormous advantages in leveraging open source and sharing and sort of in leveraging a bunch of problems which have been solved, right? I remember like 10, 15 years ago, there's a team I was working with, and they spent like 2 months writing how you do logistic regressions and gradient boosted trees with like maybe several thousand lines of code, and they wrote it from scratch. Now it will make them cry to know that you can do that with one line, right? If you use the right sort of technology. So that's one, that's modernizing. I think the second big agenda item I focus on is actually productizing analytics. So thinking about analytics much more than this uh, collection of human effort to a product and a proposition which we can bring to our customers, which is directed at a specific problem. And when you do that, you really start to think about analytics much and AI much more holistically. You start to think about the infrastructure, the engineering, the technology, everything that needs to happen to truly drive impact from that. So that's the second piece, which is productizing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third is commercializing analytics. Uh, for us, as is typical with a lot of the AI sort of an analytics space, you can view it as a commercial model or bringing value through human effort. And uh, and what we want to do is ultimately change that activity. It's a little bit like our healthcare system, where, like, if you're engaging people on AI projects or you're engaging people on sort of analytics, you can measure sort of progress by the hours spent, but we want to sort of fundamentally change that and focus on outcomes and change our commercial models. I don't care if you spend 9 months or if you spend sort of 1 week. If you achieve these sort of outcomes, you can do that. And particularly in AI, like applying that sort of mindset can cause you to think very differently about products you take into the market, propositions, and how you think about your business. So those are the three sort of big things that we tend to focus on: modernize, productize, and commercialize sort of AI. And on that sort of platform, the world's our oyster.